For this case study, we're going to look at a strategic growth target that leaders commonly use. Name the target, strategic growth. For the statement, we will enter expand the business into new regional markets. Let's take it to the target frame. The target frame, looking at the first lens, which is intent, we're going to put increase the organization's presence in new regional markets. Now that's going to be an ongoing state, that increase, but it is an increase, so therefore its result is the change that's being made at this end. Now we move to our second lens of control. We will influence how the organization approaches market expansion activity and regional growth. Lovely. And obviously that indicated is an influence. If we move to mechanism, so this is what's going to make the expectation be realized. For now we'll put develop market opportunities and strengthen regional growth initiatives. So they're fairly general intentions, those, so we're going to select general intention. Evidence, we'll use regional growth reports and market activity updates. It's going to be an activity completed, both of those. Next we move to the expectation. What do we expect the result to be? Let's go with establish operations in 3 new regional markets within 18 months. So that's our ambition, that's what we want to achieve, and that's going to be a result change. So now we're ready to take this upstream and examine the structure. Okay, so this has been returned as unsupported structurally. It's got 3 structural tensions identified. Target commits to expanding the business into new regional markets. Evidence limits what can be demonstrated about whether the mechanism caused the outcome. The outcome depends on factors beyond the declared span of control. A generic mechanism is carrying high structural load relative to the expected outcome. Preceding implies reliance on the effectiveness of the mechanism, the ability to influence external factors, and the adequacy of the evidence to support claims about the outcome. Okay, so what we've got showing up here is we've got mechanism, evidence, and control all clashing with the expectation that we've currently put out. We've got one declared observation here, so we've got evidence declared as activity-based, while the evidence wording reflects a result or state or performance change. So we need to have a look at that, and we've got our 3 triggered tensions, which are highlighted actually in our structural reflection at the top. So let's start again by aligning the structure. System here is just checking the declared structure actually matches the wording being used. It isn't strengthening the target at all, it's just making it more accurate. So here we've got evidence type to final result. At the moment, we've got regional growth reports and market activity updates. So what it's saying there is these actually aren't activities that we're using as evidence, they're the results of those activities, so therefore it's a final result. So we'll apply that alignment, confirm that that can be updated. So that's had no impact on our current structure, but it is now more accurate for us to actually be able to reflect on that and consider that if we were to move forwards with this target. Now, what's useful here is that strategic targets often sound clearer than they actually are, because broad ambition can hide structural ambiguity underneath. So really what we need to do is, again, we need to pick these, the mechanism, evidence and control, and tighten these. And again, for this case study, we're going to do these manually rather than taking them upstream and actually looking to resolve them. So let's start with pinning the 3 that we want to look at. Now we've got influence how the organization approaches market expansion. We've got mechanism, develop market opportunities and strengthen regional growth initiatives. We've got evidence, regional growth reports and market activity updates. So what we'll do here is we'll just look at one of these. I would say that mechanism is probably the weakest. It's a general intention, and we need to bring that into some specific actions. So this is where we're going to make a change, and rather than updating all 3, we'll make a change and we'll see what this does to the result when we just move in one of these lenses. So I'm going to say introduce regional expansion program with defined market selection criteria, operational launch stages, and if we move, I suppose, and quarterly regional performance reviews. So we're now getting far more into the detail here of actual things that we need to put in place as an organization in order to realize our expectations. So here what we've done is we haven't changed the ambition at all, just changing the structure that carries that ambition. So we're going to move this now across to specific actions, because that's a fair reflection. And rather than update the others, we're going to take this upstream and just see what that one change actually does to our structural shape and reflection. So we can see here we've instantly improved it. So we're now reduced to 2 structural tensions being identified. We've got control, expectation, control to mechanism. So really the common factor here is control. Preceding implies dependencies on external factors that need collaboration beyond the stated influence. We'll just align the structure, but actually for this case study, we're not going to dip into control. We're going to leave it where it is. We've got evidence type activity completed. I'm going to update now. This again, what we're seeing here is that this is a little bit of an edge case, and so it's moving back and forth across that one to go, look, there you need to define this slightly stronger. So that realignment, as we can see, is basically the edge case playing out, but it's actually making no change. It's saying that we're still unsupported and we've still got 2 key structural tensions. So the next step for a target like this would be either to accept that actually that control is weak and kind of fairly broad in what it's doing, or we edit the structure and we go back in and tighten it up.